What is up, my dashing dudes and darling dames? I am the Hans TV, and welcome back to one of the most repulsive subreddits there is. It's r/relationship advice. So a lot of these posts comes from throwaway accounts, so I'm not really going to narrate that. But our first post is, my 31 male wife, who is a 30-year-old female, says I don't have the right to be upset about losing our child. My wife and I have been together 6 years and married too. We've always wanted kids but wanted to wait and not rush at the start of our marriage. The pregnancy came as a surprise, but a very welcomed and happy one. Everything went smoothly throughout the pregnancy. There were never any signs of issues. We decorated the nursery together and put up the furniture. We were so excited to meet our baby and be parents. She carried to term, and the day of the birth, again, things were okay. She gave birth and we didn't hear any crying. We were so confused, and you can see it in the doctor's eyes that they were very concerned. I can't begin to explain the heartbreak when we were told that our little girl didn't make it. We were able to hold her and she was so beautiful. A funeral home has a free funeral service for little angels, so we buried ours, just the two of us. I have never seen a casket so small. I have been trying to be so strong for my wife. I only cry when she's not around, so when she needs me, I'm there. It's been hard to stay strong when she's crying in my arms. Seeing her like this adds to the pain. Last night, I couldn't hold it in and started bawling with her. She didn't like that at all. She started saying that I was trying to make it about me, how I should be the man and support her. She also said that I don't have the right to be so upset because I wasn't the one carrying her and giving birth. She went to bed and left me there. I know she has it worse than me because she carried her angel and gave birth to her. I just didn't expect her to react that way. But I lost my daughter too. I wanted to be a father. I didn't get to change her diaper for the first time and spend my first sleepless night with her crying. I lost her too. I know that my wife is hurting, which is why she's reacting that way. How do I support her better but also let her know how I feel in a way that doesn't seem like I'm taking away from her? I had no words, seeing as I'm not a parent, but somebody in the comments said what I was really feeling. I'm so sorry for your loss. You both need counseling, probably individually at first and then together. But your wife is 100% wrong. You have as much right to grieve as she does. But I think, hope anyway, that she didn't really mean what she said and was just lashing out because of her own grief. Losing a child is a very hard thing, and it does toll hard on parents. But it doesn't mean that the mom, it tolls harder than the father, because he was expecting that child and he loved that child as well. It's not her decision to say that he isn't able to grieve. And luckily, we have an update to that post. I want to first of all say thank you for the help and advice. I tried reading as many comments as I could. It's a lot to get through and I appreciate the help. I read a few comments that sort of blamed me for my wife's reaction and assumed that I treated her pregnancy and the birth as if it wasn't a big deal. I'm not sure where I implied that. When I say that the pregnancy went smoothly, I meant that the doctors never found any medical problems and that both of my girls were healthy. I have never once and never will dismiss that experience. If I treated everything she went through like it wasn't a big deal, I wouldn't even be here asking how I can make things better for her. I also never even equated our pain. I believe what I wrote is, I know that she has it worse than me because she carried our angel and gave birth to her. And I know that my wife is hurting, which is why she's reacting that way. How do I support her better, but also let her know how I feel in a way that doesn't seem like I'm taking away from her? I'm not sure where I equated our pain. If anything, I am diminishing my own pain in order to support her, or at least I tried to. Even after what she said, I wasn't mad at her. I was hurt, but I wasn't mad. I know she said it out of pain. It still hurts. I didn't need to read that I'm a POS husband that doesn't care for my wife because I'm also grieving the loss of our daughter. I see her every day. I see the pain that she is in. I hear it. I can't begin to imagine it, and I never will be able to understand it. I know that what she is going through is worlds different than me. If I could take all of her pain and put it on me, believe me, I would. No question. What I also didn't need to read is how my wife is evil and other countless mean words. That wasn't the point of my post. It wasn't to boost my ego and to bash my wife. It's incredibly rude and unhelpful in every way. I asked a question because I was at a loss and didn't know how to proceed. My wife isn't a bad person at all. She's an amazing woman and she honestly deserves the world. She didn't deserve this at all. Thank you to those of you who acknowledged that what she said, but also didn't speak ill of her. It doesn't make me feel any better having people say those things about her. She's not abusive or a monster. It made me sick reading those comments. It's upsetting that I even have to say this, but it's the internet, I get that. Apologies for the rant, I just wanted to let off some steam. I've always felt the need to be Superman. When I was 16, I lost my father and it was extremely hard on my mother and I had to be her rock then or I would have lost her too. This caused me to act out in ways people would call evil to others around me. And I've lost friends because of that. I held it in at home from my mom and it came out in an ugly way. I can understand why my wife is reacting this way and I'm not going to leave her over this. I wasn't planning on it. I want to be there for her, but I don't think I can be there for her the way I have been. I don't carry the weight of both of our pains on my shoulders anymore. I'm barely holding on right now. I feel like I'm in a speeding car with no steering wheel or brakes. I haven't mentioned anything to my wife about her comments, and I don't think I will right now. I'll be looking into some counseling dealing with this type of situation. I also want to look into some counseling for PPD for my wife. I've heard stories of how heartbreaking it could be when it isn't taken seriously. I don't even want to imagine it. I hope we find the help we both need and that we can come together eventually. Our friends and family have been by her side as well. They call and text her often. Her mom and sister come over too. I'm happy that she is getting extra support. I wish I was doing more for her myself. It didn't occur to me how me crying in her presence could make her feel worse. I feel guilty now, like I'm failing her. It would be nice to get a check-in from our loved ones once in a while, but she needs it more, so it's okay. I want her to get the most help. I'll use the counseling. As stupid as it may sound, having strangers tell me that it's okay to cry made me tear up a bit. The only person in my life who has told me that is my father. Whenever I would get hurt as a kid, instead of telling me don't cry, he'd just say that it's okay to do so. He's the type of man and father I aspire to be. Hopefully with the outside help, I will be stronger for my wife. Thanks again. I love my wife and I want us to get through this and come out stronger together. I love my daughter and she will forever be my firstborn. OP, I get that you want to be this Superman character that you have for yourself, but your feelings are not just pushed under the rug because your wife is hurting too. Who knows, maybe this is hurting you both at the same amount of levels because you do feel. You are allowed to feel. And her saying that you aren't allowed to grieve your daughter's death, that's just messed up. And I get it comes from a place of hurt and anguish. But you need to talk to her and say that you are just as entitled to grieving your daughter's death as she is, because she was your daughter and she always will be. It's not your fault or her fault that it happened like it did, but it is y'all's jobs to come together and do what you can to work through this. I hope this finds you, man, and I hope that you're doing well. This is our final post for today. I'm a 34-year-old male and saw my wife, who's a 37-year-old female, told her friend that she wished I was dead. Me and my wife have been married for 7 years now, and while it hasn't been perfect, I thought we still loved each other. We have one daughter who is 2 years old. Anyway, so today my wife went to the grocery store and left her phone at the house. I heard it ringing and ignored it. I was having breakfast when I saw a text from her friend saying, "He's so fat, so maybe he'll have a heart attack." I was worried and looked at her text, and what I found broke my heart. She had said, "I can't stand OP anymore. I hope he dies soon so I won't have to pay for a divorce." I'm 245 pounds and have had a lot of health problems in my life, and I'm currently in remission, so I don't have high hopes for living long. I have gained weight since we got married, something she has berated me about constantly. I don't know what to do now. Divorce seems like the only option, but I don't know. I just want to give my daughter the best life. An edit. Some background info. Me and my wife have often fought about my weight, that I work too many hours, and that I'm not a good father, which makes me pretty mad because I love my daughter more than anything. Since the quarantine began, our relationship has gotten worse. We haven't passionately hugged since April, and we argue even more now. The anger that I feel over this is immeasurable, and Double Trouble 2 says it. Your wife is a cruel monster. Going through a major health crisis takes a toll on your body, mind, and spirit. It was likely very stressful on her as well, but her words and actions are not excused. An insincere apology would fix nothing. OP, if you do get a divorce, let those messages be thrown into evidence, because that could actually save you quite a bit. Just some advice. Well, alright my dashing dudes and darling dames, that's going to do it for today's episode of r/relationship advice. I hope you liked the stories, and I'll link them in the description as always if you did. And if you liked the video, subscribe, share, drop a like, and a comment down below which you'd like to see me read next. I know I'd normally put in a cheery thank you here, which I am very sincere for all those, but right now I am just very angry considering what I just read. This pisses me off to no end. So with that being said, I will see you in the next video, and hopefully I will be in a much better mood.